Going live. There we go. Hello. Happy Wednesday. I'm coming to you a little bit early today because um, I'm going to go volunteer at Eddie's school this morning. So, oh goodness, just a deep breath. So, today's topic I wanted to share a few words on because it's Infertility Awareness Week. And some of you may know our story about infertility, others of you may not. And And so I just want to share a little bit today. My husband Yogi and I were married in 2008. And prior to that, I had already had fertility issues, gynecological issues, knew I had stage 4 endometriosis. And and I was also working as a certified fertility care practitioner. So very much in the know on women's health and pregnancy and infertility and miscarriage, and having journeyed with a lot of clients in that journey, as well as celebrating with clients when they achieved a pregnancy and a new life. So I in our engagement time, Yogi and I talked about the fact that, we might not be able to have biological children. And I wanted him to be very much okay with that. He was, we were walking into marriage knowing that it potentially could be part of our journey. And, he just said, well, then we'll adopt. Like, I love you, whether we're able to have biological children, um, or have a family that way, or whether we have a family through adoption. And you say these comments, I don't want to say flippantly, but sort of, because you don't know what the road is ahead of you. And gosh, I feel like that's God's gift to us, so we don't know the future. I think so many times we wouldn't take that first step even if we know where the road was going to lead, right? Um, and infertility certainly wasn't something that I ever thought would be part of my journey, part of our family's journey. I come from a family of 9. I have 4 sisters and 4 brothers, and my mother never struggled with infertility. My sisters and brothers who were married prior to me also not struggled with infertility. So I had lots of lovely and fun nieces and nephews, and also didn't know many people who had adopted. So that really wasn't something on my radar. But as we began our married life and desired to have children, desired to start our family right away, and that wasn't God's plan for us, became the journey. We started that journey of infertility. And in a lot of ways, it's a very silent cross. Um, it's also a cross, I think, that when you come from family and friends and community that have large families, um, that we just love and celebrate life. Um, People make assumptions when you have been married a while and don't have children yet. And so that too is I think an important cross to acknowledge for those couples that are, suffering through this cross of infertility. And also it's a cross that really lacks an ending. Like there's no like final end to it or decision of ending it. Sorry, I just wanted to grab a little note over here. But and then began our journey of looking at medical things that could increase our chances to have, to get pregnant. And I was so blessed. This is just God's moment here. So blessed. Gosh, 6 years or so prior to getting married, maybe not that long. I had become a fertility care practitioner with the Creighton model, so knew of Dr. Hilgers and all of his work at the Pope Paul VI Institute in Omaha, Nebraska, and knew that I didn't have to be concerned about any of the infertility treatments that he would recommend, that I would have to make any kind of conscience that they would go against our conscience and our faith. And so so began the journey of traveling to Omaha many, many times. I believe I had 6 or 7 surgeries with Dr. Hilgers in Omaha. And and for those of you who are traveling this journey right now, it's long and it's painful. And it's full of both physical pains from surgery and shots, and then the mental pain and the psychological pain of, every cycle, not getting pregnant, the medications, the vitamins, the progesterone support. Hmm. And in the midst of it, though, how it strengthened our marriage. Again, a little golden nugget. Um, it required a lot of vulnerability. It required hard conversations, and it required us to lean into friends and family. Um, I would definitely say that one of the things I would change if I went back to walk those years um, is I would have shared more with friends and family. I I really kept it close to my chest and didn't share much. It was difficult to share. It was painful for me. It was emotional, and and in some regards, I felt, broken. I felt like, what's wrong with me? Why can't, we get pregnant? And and I think as with every cross, then along comes those people who have walked the journey before you. And there were many of them um, who, I read their stories um, and saw their courage, and also learned the how different it is both for between the man and the woman, of how we carry the cross of infertility and how it impacts us. Yogi and I've talked a lot about this. Sometimes there's, I think for a woman, it's letting go of that opportunity to carry a child within your womb, to feel that child grow, and then to go through the experience of childbirth and to nurse that child and see the reflection of yourself. And this is probably both for man and woman. See the reflection of yourself in that beautiful new human being. And that's a dream that I know I had to let go of and process through. Um, Grieving that wouldn't be part of our process, that wouldn't be part of our life, it wouldn't be part of our story of our family. Um, As you remember, everywhere I looked, I saw pregnant women or new babies or little babies, or I felt like in the 8 years that we struggled with infertility and journeyed through infertility prior to adopting our beautiful little boy, um, like how many baby showers could there be, you know? And and I also remember having to say no to some of them, you know? And that's okay. I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. Um, and I also recognized that this is the cross that God gave us to bear and that He gave us the grace to carry it. You know, I don't know if I could have carried the cross of a miscarriage or stillbirth, right? And so many of you have carried that burden and that cross. And I know that there's also this challenge for other people to how do we intersect with a couple that are struggling with infertility? What do you say? And you know what, frankly, sometimes you won't get it right. Sometimes you'll say something that will, you know, trigger a tear from us or, create a pain. It, they're just, it's just full of, landmines, really. Um, but I would say being present and asking about the journey. Don't avoid it, but ask, talk about it. I encourage you, if you're on this journey, share it with other women, share it with other couples. Um, don't if you get into that spiral of, you know, what's wrong with me? Why is my womb empty? Why doesn't my body work? Um, I just, you can't take the next step or the next year or the next cycle. Find someone to lean into, to walk with you. Find another woman. And also recognize that we can be fruitful in so many ways. Marriages can be fruitful in so many different ways. And um, there's being spiritual mothers, there's being great aunts, right? Teachers, volunteering, and just continuing to pray along the way. Pray and be hopeful. It's a profound personal journey. It really is a very personal journey. And like I said earlier, it can feel isolating and also like such a silent cross. And cling to your marriage, cling to the grace that comes through the beautiful sacrament of matrimony for you and your spouse. Um, and not to blame. It's not your spouse's fault, right? Take the steps that you can, or take those medical steps that you're called to. Not everyone is called to do 7 surgeries like I had. And I remember asking Dr. Hilgers at our first surgery, I said, so how long do couples, kind of go down this journey of surgeries and medical assistance and on this infertility journey? And he said, for every couple, it's different. For every couple, it's a discernment process. And for some, they might run out of money and not be able to do anymore. For others, it's emotionally like the woman or the man can just not do one more medical treatment, right? One more ultrasound, one more, you know, lab workup. And so it's, he said, but you'll know, and you'll be at peace when you come to the end of the journey. And knowing myself, I knew that when I got past childbearing age and looked back on my life, and our marriage and our family, I'd have to be able to say to myself, we did everything we could and didn't leave, one stone unturned, um, that we could possibly do as a Catholic couple, honoring God's plan for marriage and life and children. And um, and I'm so grateful to my husband who really let me drive that decision for another surgery or decision to try Clomid or whatever it was. And that last surgery, it was in December of, I don't remember what year it was, but I remember both of us, going into that surgery, and and said to Yogi, like, this is the last one, and I'm okay with that. And then we're going to take some time to heal and process and trust, and then start the next journey that God has for us. I also want you to hear that not having biological children, as devastating as that might be for you, as it was for us, doesn't mean that everyone is called to the journey of adoption. God may have other ways that He wants you and your husband to be fruitful and to give. And it was a discernment process for us as well. And also, uh, those of you who have adopted, you know that adoption doesn't solve the infertility um, tears, right? Yes. Now my arms are full with this, for us, this beautiful, beautiful baby boy. Um, but I remember still having to go through the process of grieving. And that's okay. That's okay. It's who I've become in the process. It's who my husband and I have become in the process of journeying through it. It's a beautiful time. It's a beautiful time. And there are many resources out there to help you if you are struggling with infertility. I'll do another segment sometime with Yogi and I both, so that you can hear, for the men out there as well, the full story, right? And I think one of the big takeaways that Yogi and I had is that children are a gift, recognizing that children are a gift from God. They are not a right. Um, and that we can um, carry the cross of infertility with joy and freedom, and that we can look for and should be looking for ways that we can contribute to the world and other people's lives. And to not take an infertility diagnosis as a death sentence. Yes, it might be the death of a dream and a desire on your heart, but God makes all things new. You are beautiful. You are unique. You are not broken. Your beautiful heart wants to celebrate life and bring life into the world. I know what that feels like. I just encourage you today to place the anxiety that's on your heart, the fear that you might have, the grief that you might be going through, any stress or tension in your marriage that has come from this, because we experienced that too. And let this cross bring you closer together. Let it be a gift. Carry it with joy and include others in the journey. They want to walk with you. I know people did, and I did not let them in. And if you would love to talk about this topic, or you need someone to speak with about your journey with infertility, please don't hesitate to reach out. It's a joy for us to share our story. It's a joy for us to share that God called us to adoption, and that we're blessed, extremely blessed, and have a more abundant life than I could have even possibly imagined. So I see you. I see your pain. Rest a little at the cross, and then invite others to walk with you, and lean in to your spouse. All right. Have a great day. Amy Cummings with Cummings Coaching. And this is the Authentic Woman Podcast. See you next week.